Arizona State represents the best in USA International Wrestling. Against Oklahoma State's Tony Purler back in the 1990 team duels, it was easy to see that he was a star on the horizon.
Well, Arizona State starts out with a big disadvantage. They don't have a heavyweight. And so they know they're going to be just the same as 6 points behind to start with. And they know they have to make up those points somewhere. And Zeke Jones, who is top ranked in the country and undefeated, is going to try to do his coach Bobby Douglas a favor and work on this outstanding, talented young freshman from Oklahoma State, Tony Purler.
Zeke Jones has been around a long time. He's got a lot of international experience. Right here, he's in on a single leg and going to try to turn it into a takedown, which he does.
And he did right away. Single leg switched off to a double there, TJ, in very good style.
A two-time All-American, Zeke Jones.
It's 2 points for a takedown, you know, in the college game. 1 point for an escape if Purler can do it here.
It's okay.
Jones has wrestled against the best from other countries as well as the best in his collegiate ranks here in the United States.
Right here, Zeke Jones drives in, uses his head right there to create the angle, covers the hips for the 2-point takedown.
Now we're back to live action again. That's Tony Purler of Oklahoma State. We have timeout here while the clock has changed. They were putting the score up and the time up for the wrong side there.
Yeah, you were mentioning that Zeke Jones wrestles against the best. In fact, we have one of the best right here in Tony Purler. You mentioned that he was an outstanding freshman. He was a national junior freestyle champion, a state champion from the St. Louis area in Missouri. He is outstanding.
But he is against somebody who's been around a lot longer, and it makes a difference in this game.
Well, that's the point I was going to make, that we have a fifth-year senior in Zeke Jones and a redshirt freshman. It's expected that the fifth-year senior with the experience knows what the action is, and he knows that a major decision would really help his team.
Now, Jones tries to get the legs in as fast as he can, but Purler is able to stand up and turn into them. Jones would like to crank his man over on his back and maybe pin him. That's the big thing in this game, is to pin your man. Put him on his back for a count of one. Pin his shoulders to the mat.
It's the ultimate victory in wrestling.
You can't always do it, but sometimes by getting him close to a pin, you get those near fall points, which add up too into what we were talking about earlier, a major decision or a technical fall. Now Jones decides to let Purler go and trade takedown for a 1-point escape.
Well, Jones is one of these wrestlers that feels comfortable on his feet and comfortable on the mat. Not every wrestler has that kind of balance. Jones is good, the low single attack, high crotches, single legs, but he's also very tough on the mat.
He's undefeated this year, 19 straight. We're at the beginning. Arizona State against Oklahoma State for the National Team Championship at Hampton Coliseum in the beautiful Tidewater region of Virginia.
I've watched Zeke Jones for the past several years. He's really grown into this 118-pound spot. He was a little light as he came out of high school. He's gained strength and a little bit of size, and he's really putting it together.
Good flurry on the end that came to nothing because they were out of bounds. There's Tony Purler coming back, getting encouragement from his coach, Joe C. Jones expects to win here, in on a single leg, a high crotch on the other side. Can he turn it into a takedown?
He's on the single leg. Well, he reaches back here and secures the elbow, and he's going to try to continue on for this takedown. He's got the leg. Now he's going to cut across. Going to try to cut across for a double leg here and finish it off. But Purler's got something to say about it here.
It's almost like a Granby there, that reaching back for the arm. And Jones comes out on top for his second takedown, leads 4-1.
He was able to sneak his arm through there, cut across to the double, and get the 2 points.
There's the end of the first period, and the nice thing about that for Jones is he didn't give Purler time to have an escape.
Don't use it. I'm going to be right behind him. No.
Purler trails 4-1 going into the second period. He gets his choice, and he decides to take the down position. That means in the third period, Jones will get his choice.
Well, the interesting thing about Tony Purler, his twin brother Nick wrestles for Oklahoma State also. Both of them out of Wentzville, Missouri.
Jones very tough on top. See with that spiral ride. Get in there and dig and drive the way these Sun Devils from Arizona State under Bobby Douglas do. He's tough with a leg in.
Well, that is really patented Zeke Jones right there. Put the leg in, torque that body. He almost makes the other guy say, I want to go to my back.
And they do.
It's really a tough top position by Zeke Jones.
Now Jones comes on top again. Immediately, Purler tried to roll, but Jones cut it off.
Well, as you said, Jones went right to the spiral ride and jam right there, right off the whistle. You know what they're going to do, but stopping it's another thing.
You're looking at an extraordinarily talented freshman from Oklahoma State in against a seasoned veteran from Arizona State. Arizona State, lacking a heavyweight, needs to make up points somewhere. So you can see Jones going for a major decision or a fall. Purler's out. Escape, 4-2.
Well, again, Jones really decided to let him go. He's developed himself on his feet. He knows he can take Purler down. He's going to stay up there on his feet.
He likes to work the lower body with the legs. Shots for single legs, what's called a high crotch, putting the move through to the far leg. And you can look for that. He's very quick with it. Double leg. Went after both of them.
Going to try to pull it in here and finish off for another takedown. But Purler's having something to say about it with some good counter action, good hip action. He's keeping his weight up on top of the head, and he's into a front headlock position right here. Tony Purler is.
Whoa!
Boy,
nice
that's a nice,
move.
yeah, that was a nice move. It was, you see what Zeke Jones did there was shucked him on by and secured the elbow and was able to slip around before Purler could cut off with his arm.
Let's take another look at that when we get a chance, because that was an extraordinarily move.
You see him shuck by, he's going to throw by, but look at that left arm come up and secure underneath the bicep right there. That kept Purler from blocking him off. Got him behind the arm for 2 points. Good job by Zeke Jones.
And that's his third takedown, 6-2, and he took another shot for one more, but Purler again cuts him off, has the front headlock position here on top, and he'd like to make something out of that, but Jones looks very stable.
Well, he's been very aggressive. He's kept the match going very aggressive at a high pace, and he's been on his feet. He'll trade 2 for 1 anytime. 2 points for a takedown, 1 point for the opponent's escape. 2 for 1 exchange. You can see how that builds up.
And again over to the far leg. Jones working hard, Purler trying to come across the back.
And there, right there, again, he's looking up there to secure that elbow, kind of a reverse type Granby, as you said, and hooking up so he can cut across and get 2 points. Close.
And he got it.
Well, it looked like it, but I don't know whether he did or not.
At the end of the period, no score.
No score, it was close.
It was awfully close to a fourth takedown for Jones, but he didn't quite get it.
It was only the time that ran out. He had it, but it was time ran out.
Joe C. is behind here 6-3. Now third period. The big question is, can Jones get a major decision? Can he rack up an 8-point margin here? And Purler has to hold Jones as long as he can, do something on top, wasn't able to do it. Riding time is a factor. We should mention too about riding time in the college game. If you can be on top in an advantage position for 1 minute longer in a match than your opponent has, you can get a point out of that.
Here's a nice lift. He got in, secured the leg, and just used his hips. He lowered his level and lifted. So many people think it's bicep, tricep. All he did there was secure the leg, and then the rest of it was with his lower body. He lowered his level and lifted, came down for the 2 points. Nice move by Zeke Jones.
That's the way you draw that high crotch and lift on a blackboard. It was a perfect takedown by Zeke Jones.
Well, I think an important thing right here for Oklahoma State, Purler down 9-4. Tony Purler has to just grit his teeth and get in this match and stay in there. Be hard-nosed and do not let Zeke Jones get those extra points. This is where the seasoned veteran has the advantage, but the young man has to stay in the match. Tony Purler has to.
There's a
keep
long
coming.
single leg, but it's too long. He came from way out, and now Jones was able to knock him down off his base and get the front headlock on it.
Right. Now you see Jones with the front headlock, putting the pressure on the head, and with Purler with a body lock there, and they're kind of neutralized. Jones trying to create a situation where he can get a takedown by getting Tony Purler out of position.
But meanwhile, time is running away on Purler. The clock is the enemy here.
See, that's what Joe C's telling Tony Purler. Says, change your levels, mix it up, get in there, get the action going.
But Jones beat him to the punch.
Reaching back for the elbow again. In on the single.
A major decision is what Jones is after.
See, Jones is trying to cut across, and he got the 2.
And he got
Purler was trying to cut the corner, but Jones had position on him by covering those hips.
And it's 11-4. Now, if you add riding time to that, that's a major decision.
That's a major decision, and the way Zeke Jones knows how to ride. Look at that high thigh ride. He's got the ankle back there, and there's only, 7 seconds left?
5 seconds.
It looks
4.
like that's what's going to happen, a major decision. Zeke Jones knew where he was at.
And he got it The undefeated number 1 ranked wrestler from Arizona State gets the Sun Devils off on the right foot with a big win, 12-4.